And when I sit down with an entrepreneur, okay, especially if they're in a startup phase or someone who's early stage, pre-rev, I'll say, okay, so what's your goal? And they'll go, my goal is I want to make $1 million in the next 12 months. Now, based on what we know, here's what we know. On average in the Western world, it takes between 7 to 10 years to make $1 million from scratch. What we also know is, within the first 5 years, there's only about 4.5% of businesses that will actually survive those first 5 years in business. So we're not even in the 7 to 10 year window that makes the $1 million. And what we know about the balance that actually do make it through to the 10-year mark, there's only about 1.8% that survive. So for every business that starts today, for every 100 businesses that start today, there'll be 1.8 that will be here in 10 years from now. So not only is your survival ridiculously low, the potential of your survival ludicrously, fractionally low, but the potential of success is even less. And I know what you're thinking, fuck, I thought he was a motivational speaker. This isn't very motivating. No, but it's the fucking truth. And when you understand this truth, you look for every single fucking hack you can find, every single possible thing you can find to deploy in your business and in your life, because every single thing is stacked against you. Even more so now. There has never been a more important time for you to have the right information than there has been today. So I want to make $1 million in 12 months. And so here's what happens. It goes a little like this. So when most people start a business, it's like when most people start a relationship. Okay, they're ignorant and they're optimistic. Okay, we call them the uninformed optimist. Okay, and they get into business, they're totally ignorant, they've got no idea what they're doing. They go, I am going to conquer the world. Who remembers that feeling? Does anyone remember that feeling when you first got into business? You're like, oh my God, I'm going to fucking conquer the world. No one can stop me. Here I am woman, I am man, hear me. Ah. All right? And we get into business, we go charging away, charging away, charging away, charging away, and then all of a sudden we have what's called the realization event, where all of a sudden we develop a little bit more awareness, and we go, fucking hell, this is a lot harder than I thought it was. And that normally looks like a GST bill. Fuck GST, you mean I have to pay GST? Or whatever your sales tax is. It could be a tax bill. It could be a partner going, well, I'm not putting up with this anymore. You have something that makes you go, fuck, this is a lot harder than I thought it was. And we call that person now, they're no longer an uninformed optimist, which is required. You need to be ignorant when you start a business, because who would agree? If you knew how fucking hard it was going to be, you probably would have thought twice. Yeah, okay. I get it. I got fucking both arms and a leg up, right? But there's no alternative. For me, and for most of you, there's no alternative either. Why? Because you want to be the person, okay, that is choosing your destiny, not having your destiny served to you from a buffet. You want to choose. So now we're the informed skeptic. Now, when you're the informed skeptic, if you have a low level of awareness, who will you allocate blame towards? Will you go, oh, it's my fault, I just didn't know enough about business? Or will people say things like, oh, well, you sit down with someone who's failed a startup, you go, oh, why did the business fail? I almost never hear them go, oh, I just didn't know what to do. Most of the time I hear them say, well, the product sold itself, but no one bought it. I launched it in 2008 or in 2020 when the pandemic and the global financial crisis, and they come up with all these stories. The product, the market, the situation, their partner, whatever. And they go, well, it's not me because I'm fucking amazing. But what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to go looking for another opportunity because I'm fucking good. The product is the problem. And they go back down here looking for a new business, a new idea, a new concept, a new startup. Why? Because they want to go back to the part that feels good. I want to go back to that uninformed optimistic stage because I felt really fucking good then. It was like a chemical high. It was like sitting in the piss pool of potential greatness where I sat there, mentally thinking about all the things I was going to do but never really doing anything. Who knows what I'm talking about? Does anyone know someone like this? Who knows someone like this? Put your hands up if you know them really fucking well, right? And this becomes what I refer to as the cycle of failure. They go from one idea, one concept, one product, next product, service, or iterations of, never taking the time to develop a level of awareness and going, well, fuck, what's the consistent thing in all these scenarios? You are the consistent thing in all these scenarios. And the sooner you develop a level of awareness, okay, that you are the problem, then you can work on you, okay, and tune you to do better. And one of the most important things you need to understand is Short-term thinking is disastrous when it comes to business. Fucking disastrous. I've seen it up. I've been doing this for 20 years, guys. 20 plus years now in the realm of business. And I see what people do when they go, I'm going to make $1 million in 12 months. They get to month 8 and they're at like negative $72,000, right? And guess what happens when they're at negative $72,000, but they've told everyone they're going to make $1 million, their business is going to be a huge success? Stress pops its weary little head, and then you become fucking beaten by stress, beaten by the expectations, beaten by the embarrassment, beaten by the shame, beaten by the guilt. But I've told everyone because someone said I should tell everyone what I'm going to do. You just told them the wrong fucking time frame. So when we work with people, especially our K2s, you guys now, we say, let's not focus on 12-month windows, let's focus on 10 years. Because the chances of you making $1 million in the next 12 months are virtually nil. But the chances of you making 10 million in the next 10 years is actually higher. Think about that. The chances of you making 10 million in 10 years is greater than you making 1 million in 12 months. If you can wrap your head around that, then that's a really fucking good thing to wrap your head around. But in order to do that, we need to understand the informed skeptic stage. These corrections are required for you to become conscious of what I call the gap. Skill, knowledge, and experience gap. Because what these corrections do, what these realizations do is they go, oof, fuck, I didn't know that skill. I didn't have that experience. I didn't have that knowledge. And then you go, well, I'll just pretend that didn't happen and I'll go and fucking do it again. Or you go, I'm going to humble myself. I'm going to humble myself to my human vulnerability and go, man, I fucked this shit up. That was me. I did that. How can I do it better? Well, I'm missing a piece of knowledge. Okay, well, what's the knowledge? This is it. Well, if I learn that knowledge, it'll give me a skill. And so then I know how to do this. And now all I need is the experience, but that doesn't come without the knowledge and the skill. Okay, you can't gain experience driving a race car watching fucking videos on YouTube. Okay, you actually have to jump in the car and feel the acceleration, feel the stress of fucking taking off. 0 to 60 in 2.8. Feel the deceleration and the G's of, whoa, what happens when you brake hard and whoa, what happens when you corner too hard. Why? Because that stuff produces stress. And you've got to condition yourself to that stress to be able to deal with that stress and evolve to the stress rather than devolve, to your old habits and behaviors. Who knows what I'm talking about here? Who knows what the fuck I'm talking about here? Damn straight. I want to see your armpit, Danielle. So this is where we go, you know what? I know I'm an informed skeptic right now, but this is an important part. I need to be a bit skeptical. Why? To ask questions. But I'm informed, but we don't want to lose the optimism. We've got to understand this is a 10-year journey. Okay, and there's going to be a few of these realizations along the way. Okay, but our ultimate goal is to become the informed optimist. Now, I borrow this from Tim Ferriss. Okay, I've added aspects to it. But what we've got to understand is, as I said before, making 10 mil, in 10 years is far more achievable than making 1 million in 12 months. Why? Because you've got the time frame. Because here's the thing, you could fuck it up every day for the first 3 years, which a lot of people do, and they just get by. But you can get to the end of year 3, and guess what you can say to yourself? Man, it's all right, I've still got 7 years to go. A lot can happen in 7 years. A lot can happen in 5 years. A lot can happen in 3 years. But it's hard to do a lot in 12 months. But trust me, I'm going to show you how to do fucking heaps. And in fact, I'm going to show you how to shortcut this from a 10-year to, in some cases, maybe 3 or 4 or even less. Because when you know what things to do, you do the right things. When you don't know the right things to do, you happen to do a lot of the wrong things. And when you do a lot of the wrong things, you have a lot more of these. When you do a lot of the right things, you have a lot less. Okay? Still get to the same outcome, it's just a lot faster. Much, much, much faster. But we've got to avoid the cycle of failure, which is being ignorant, the uninformed or the ignorant skeptic to the common equation in this.